Sabine, such a pleasure to meet you here in beautiful Lucerne in Switzerland. We have to talk about DRUPA.
Yes.
Next year's DRUPA year. Fire away.
Yeah, my pleasure as well to meet you here during the Hunkeler Innovationdays. Yeah, DRUPA is in a very positive mood. As I already mentioned, we are in great progress and we already have taken the last results of DRUPA 16 in terms of space and key accounts that are already registered for DRUPA. So we are in the middle as well of getting the agenda set for our different conference areas, stages, touch points, if it's the touch point packaging or 3D fab and print. DNA, which is actually a fresh and new approach of the formerly DRUPA Innovation Park. We're coming from cutting-edge technologies, global trends, and the target and aim is to show the impact on our industry. So it's all very dynamic.
Talking about being on track and selling the space, which is, I guess, a very important thing for a big exhibition that takes place every fourth year. Would you say that your success rate of DRUPA is a mirror of how the industry is developing right now?
Absolutely. I think coming from a big consolidation period, not only on the visitor side, print service provider side, but as well from the supplier side, this actually has given a lot of spirit and a lot of positive move. And if you look at the portfolio of our major key players, you clearly see that the graphic arts, yes, it's still the heart of DRUPA since foundation 69 years ago. However, all the major key players certainly now have a digital strategy. And there's no more only one digital hall or two or three, but we're talking about 18 halls full of digital solutions, and certainly looking at inkjet. This is one of the drivers in the industry where you not only print on graphic material but on ceramics, on wood, on textile.
You have another advantage with a lot of the inkjet presses. They take out a lot of space, right?
Yeah. As one of the USPs of DRUPA certainly is that exhibitors are coming with running machinery and with big equipment. That is certainly as well an exciting curve for many of the participants.
I've been at DRUPA many times, of course, since I'm a member of the industry, but one of the things I like about DRUPA a lot is, of course, as you said, that you have running equipment. I also like that it is more than 2 days. I'm not 100% sure I like it's 11 days. Yeah. And it used to be 14 days. If you look at DRUPA in the marketplace, is there still a need for these long time exhibitions? I know it takes a lot of time to put things up, and there's a lot of people there, but I'm just like, time is changing, and as you mentioned DNA, absolutely. I think there's a lot of changes in the world going on, so I'm really curious about your opinion about that.
Yeah, so actually we are not taking that decision by ourselves. We have a DRUPA committee which actually represents the visitor and exhibitor side. And interesting enough, obviously there's still the need to have 11 days. And still in 12 there were
That's good
14
when it's like 15 months ago, right?
11 days. I mean, we would have adjusted, like running the K-show for 8 days or Interpack for 7 days, having an overlap of exhibitors in that circle. And we regularly ask our customers, would you rather reduce or remain with the timeline? And as I said, the feedback was 11 days are perfect. And so I think we're just meeting there the requirements of the industry you just said and mentioned, with a 4 or even 5 week construction period, and with all that machinery.
It takes just a long time to do it, basically.
It's simply, and with all the country days and different teams coming from all over the world, that's, I think, fascinating to see.
Why exhibitions? I mean, we have the internet, we have films, we have a lot of the exhibitors at DRUPA and the big brands, they have their own shows. Why big shows like DRUPA? Why print shows?
Okay, we love fairs, certainly. That's our commitment. But on the other side, I think with all the digitalization and with the digital transformation, the need of meeting and face-to-face interactive exchange of ideas, touching solutions, being a human being with the desire to have haptical experience. This is obviously still a very big vote for trade fairs. And interesting enough, we are observing at Messe Düsseldorf with a portfolio of 25 own trade fairs and 25 guest partners, So far, there always was a good reason why trade fairs took place. And our own shows that have taken place already since the beginning of the year, if it's the boat show, if it's the Eurosys show for the biggest retail, let's say, meeting point, they have seen even an increase in participation. And
but the reason I'm asking is because if you look at your visitor numbers over the past, let's say, 5-6 shows, it has a curve and it's not a positive curve.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's certainly true.
So that's why I'm asking if there's because I can understand. I totally agree with you on the tactile and the networking thing and running equipment and all these kind of things. I totally agree on that. But I'm just wondering why is of course the industry is a decreasing industry. So of course from that perspective there will be fewer visitors. But I'm just wondering, do we as an industry have a challenge ahead of us actually convincing the print service providers and the industry to actually back up and get inspiration from getting to the trade shows?
I think this is our absolute responsibility to show the universe of print, different business models, how to probably partner and take the win-wins of every partnership. And this is, I think, a big tendency observed not only on the visitor side, but as well on the supplier side. Interesting enough, we see that some of the big players, formerly being competitors, now are getting much closer and really serving the customer from a different angle and perspective. And just to answer your question or to reply to your observations.
Thank you.
You're fully right. 10 years ago or 7 years ago, we had 15,000 print service providers in Germany. Let's name it like this. Now we're talking about 7,000. So 50% of the base of visitor potential has been eliminated from the market due to digital transformation and other reasons why they didn't survive. And obviously that consolidation is still going on. However, from an international point of view, visitor numbers were increasing. We had an increase again from India, from China.
So the emerging markets go to Germany, basically.
Absolutely. I think Europe as a region and as a country still has a very high reputation when it comes up to engineering processes and to quality technology. Like here in Switzerland, I think Switzerland, Germany, Scandinavia, these are very strong countries that simply have an absolute, quality and reason why the world is going to still meet at platforms such as DRUPA.
It's kind of fun because when I attended Print 18 in Chicago, the obvious question is always the first day at the show, how many will come and how is the boss and things like that. And I was actually the guy that gave me the badge. I asked him, so is it a big show this year? And he was like, I don't know. See, I'm not with the show. I'm just here with the McCormick place. And the way I see it is that, 10 years ago, there was like 5-10 people from every company coming here.
Yeah, that's another reason.
But now
it's a budget theme and topic, absolutely.
Yeah. And I was just wondering because I wrote an article about this, because I think that one of the challenges the exhibitors or the exhibiting industry has is that it really has to be valuable for the customer.
Relevant, valuable,
to get that. Because I'm just wondering, in your opinion, do you think that, not DRUPA in particular, but more like in general, do you think that the industry and the exhibitors has been too much focusing on the exhibitors rather than the visitors?
We as an organizer.
No, I was more in general, because this is one of the surprises I have is I see that the number of private shows like this one and like a little bit like D-Scoop, a little bit like Argos Inspiration.
Different formats simply,
It seems to be attractive for the vendors because they have their own audience and they can manipulate the communication the way the story they want to tell. And I was just wondering if the users like to participate in these events, doesn't that challenge the big ones like yourself even more?
To a certain extent, I think. These niche events or user events, as you just mentioned, D-Scoop, for example, or EFI Connect, I think another very, successful example. I think it's the charming thing is the mixture out of it, because you just meet the audience, you already know. At DRUPA, I guess, the impulses coming as well from fresh and new contacts have as well a great value for exhibitors. And it's simply a different platform, it's coming from a different hierarchy, And the world of trade fairs has changed as well. We have seen a lot of consolidation. I mean, the biggest competitor when I started at Messe Düsseldorf was IPEX in terms for DRUPA. It's gone. There are trade shows in Germany like DRUPA und Form in Sinsheim finished.
Okay.
Or,
so you actually
consolidated
even from a German perspective, you consolidate. So some of the local fairs now become more attracted to go to DRUPA.
Because, I mean, anyway, if you are taking your business very carefully and have a big responsibility for your future, you have to get orientation and guidance. And where do you get orientation and guidance? Certainly one thing is a good print source and magazine or different, let's say, formats, conferences. However, on the other side, I think you have to get a vision and you have to get inspired by, I think, many key players that are certainly driving our industry, and I think this is what DRUPA still stands for in terms of value proposition.
I totally agree on that. I'm looking forward to go there, of course. Final little round of questions here is, unless you have something you want to add to it. I was just wondering. Now we have been touching a little bit upon the market and the challenges that I think we agree on. That it requires some kind of, I wouldn't say change, but it requires considerations about how to actually make it attractive to go there. So if you look at next DRUPA, what is, if you have 3 reasons why a print service provider or converter should go there, shoot away.
Yeah, absolutely. As I just said, it's about inspiration, it's about new business models, it's orientation and guidance. It's simply taking, as our claim says, embrace the future, taking or identifying what is relevant for me, what is in for me as quality, and implementing those ideas. If you're a print service provider in your daily business, or if you're a supplier, just getting an idea about what is happening, because I think the universe of print is still so it's still unlimited in terms of ideas and in terms of applications. And as always, there are some big visions around provided by key players of the industry. And I think there's not one industry where you don't find printing applications. No. If you're looking at the automotive industry, if you're looking at the medical industry, if you're looking at the various, applications in terms of packaging, I think printing is so inspiring. And
of course, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be provocative, but anyway, I'm just asking the things that you mentioned right now.
It's a must-attend event.
Yeah, but
if you miss it.
But isn't it more or less the same? Could you say that about the 16 and the 12 DRUPAs? I mean, I'm just wondering. I had a conversation with Thayer Long.
Yes.
And I actually think that was the reason why I got involved with AP Tech for the last show, because I would think that the value is not. I mean, you know the hotel prices in Düsseldorf, and you know how expensive it is. But that is not the real cost. The real cost is basically that you take out the time of your company, and that's where the value proposition. So what you say is, of course, right. I couldn't disagree with anything of you saying. I'm just wondering, because if I was let's say that I'm a printer in Hamburg, or I'm a printer in Milan, or I'm a printer in Athens, and I have to go and I want to go to DRUPA. It's not just, it's always about equipment, it's always about return on investment, but it also has to do something that the value that you bring is that enough to have a lot of halls with a lot of gear, and because that also it is a challenge for the industry to reinvent themselves in order to make it even more valuable to go there.
But there, let's say you're talking about the timeline for a printer that is visiting. That's one side of the story. I think that's as well a USP of DRUPA, being in a 4-year cycle. We just had very interesting interviews and discussions, dialogues with customers. So one big value of DRUPA certainly is that the supplier side is developing specifically on that 4-year cycle innovation. So if you
they use it to actually kind of
it's obviously
get
the
leads,
Olympic
and then
thought behind it I think is really one big advantage.
Okay, but that sounds awesome. So that means that we can with confidence go to DRUPA, and we can with confidence believe in the next DRUPA as well.
Absolutely agree.
Okay.
And fully,
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Yeah.